Welcome back, Dolphins. Hit that like and subscribe if you like this video, and comment down below. Let me know what you think about this outrageous trade proposal. I've been talking with a couple of people, and it's kind of just starting to make more and more sense to me based upon the draft. We'll talk about Myles Garrett. He has just requested a trade from the Cleveland Browns. I know that they're asking for, I think it's like 3 first-rounders. But to be honest, Myles Garrett is not going to play if he's there. So he's going to do a whole holdout. You want to move this guy, basically before the season, because he's not going to play. And that 3 first-rounders is just, that's what they're shooting out there. But here's what I'm thinking, and tell me if I'm crazy. I might be crazy. 99% of the chance that this does not happen. But the trade proposal that I'm saying is that coming into this year, the Cleveland Browns don't have really any wide receivers. Trading Amari Cooper, he went to the Buffalo Bills. They don't really have anyone. I think like somebody, Cedric Spillman or something like that, is there. I don't know who their receivers are. They have basically nobody. So here's what I'm saying. What you do here, and it's going to sound crazy, but the Dolphins need pass rush. Cleveland Browns need wide receivers. Myles Garrett doesn't want to be there. Tyreek Hill pretty much doesn't want to be here. Figuring out the basis of, whatever else, maybe we'll send like a 4th-round pick over there or something, but you're going to be trading an elite pass rusher, probably one of the best ones in the league, if not the best, for an elite receiver, one of the best ones in the league, if not the best. And you're both getting what you want. But the basis of it is this. You don't do it immediately. The whole thing is you don't do it immediately. But Chris Grier gets on the phone and you talk to the general manager of the Cleveland Browns. Because, again, Tyreek Hill is a once-in-a-lifetime type player. He stretches the field, is completely a difference maker. And that squad is also in a very similar situation where the head coach and everything is just like Mike McDaniel. If they don't perform this year, they're going to get fired. So they're both in desperate moves. So what you do is you call up the general manager and we make a proposal like this. And it's based upon the draft. When you go to the draft, there's a guy named Abdul Carter that we'll talk about. He is a once-in-a-generational type of pass rusher. Actually reminds us a lot of Myles Garrett and like Micah Parsons. When you look at this guy play, he's like the only blue chip top tier player in this class. Like somebody that is you cannot pass up on. So we make this proposal that if the Tennessee Titans select somebody that's not Abdul Carter and they select anyone else, and the Cleveland Browns can get Abdul Carter, you start this transaction. So this is the basis. It's all in the draft. You call the general manager up and we sit there and agree that we make this trade if Cleveland gets Abdul Carter in the draft. So what ends up happening is you get Abdul Carter, the Miami Dolphins either draft Luther Burden or Matthew Golden from Texas, and you get that other star wide out. And what ends up happening is we'll designate this for a post-June 1st trade so that each team eats the least amount of cap that they can possibly eat. This would be Tyreek Hill's contract coming into this next season and the season after that. Obviously, there's a potential out, but here's the thing. At June 1st, the option to trade or cut him completely reduces the salary cap. So if you hear me out, this is what I'm saying. Myles Garrett wants to be traded. Tyreek Hill wants to be traded. So when you see this 2025 dead cap, 12 million, 26, 15 million, that's not horrible. That's basically what Xavier Howard is doing this year. And the savings would be $15 million. So when you're looking at this, this is what I say. And right now, as you see, we're negative 15 million. We're going to do a bunch of different signing bonuses and like, for instance, we're probably going to allocate some money into Teron Armstead's contract. We'll probably do that for, Zach Sealer or something along those lines. we're going to create cap space because, as you can see, most of it is with Tyreek Hill and Tua. So what we do here is we'll just propose a trade. So here we go. We'll propose a trade, retain cap of trade. So basically, they will take on most of it. We'll keep around 12 million. So then we'll go to the Cleveland Browns and we'll pick Myles Garrett. And they're going to acquire a 4 million cap if he is traded. So when you look at this, we've processed that trade. We've lowered the cap significantly because the cap is like 40 million. So with Myles Garrett, you're not taking on $4 million of that contract because they have a lot of guaranteed. We have a lot of guaranteed. And here's the thing. When you look at this, you're going to restructure that contract. They're going to restructure Tyreek Hill's contract to get rid of that cap space because obviously you're going to keep these guys for the next 3-4 years, hopefully. So you're going to restructure that contract. And when you really look at this, you're both getting the players that you want. So yeah, as you can see, if you get rid of Tyreek Hill after that, basically you're knocking off a bunch of cap. You're going to restructure Myles Garrett, and you're going to free up a bunch of cap space. Plus, here's the thing. What you're going to end up doing here, and the reason why the first round picks is not really an option here, you're going to be giving them an all-world wide receiver. Tyreek Hill is probably the best wide receiver in the league, or top 3. Myles Garrett, same thing, top 3 or the best. You're both getting what you want, and then you're both drafting the same person. When you look at Abdul Carter, very similar to Myles Garrett, very similar traits, similar like pass rushing, similar strength. You look at Luther Burden, basically almost the exact same thing except a little taller than Tyreek Hill. You're basically getting your Tyreek Hill in the draft. So when you look at this trade, and like I said, you make this trade, you sign it for a post-June 1st trade so that both teams clear out cap space. You're basically just swapping players. And, Tyreek Hill gets to play with Deshaun Watson, so he gets the quarterback and all that stuff. And he gets what he wanted because Tyreek Hill is just whining because he's not getting funneled targets. So the thing is that team, he's going to get funneled targets. He's probably going to have 2,000-something yards over in Cleveland, and they still have a shot to go to the playoffs. It's not like they're out of it. If Deshaun Watson plays a little bit better, they still have a shot, or whatever they're doing at quarterback. So Tyreek Hill has a chance to just break all sorts of records over there. Myles Garrett comes here to a contender that would, pairing him up with Jalen Phillips, Bradley Chubb, and even that might be sort of the trade thing too. If you want to get rid of Bradley Chubb, maybe you can see if they can take him on too, and then you trade Bradley Chubb and Tyreek Hill and a 4th rounder for Myles Garrett. And what you would end up doing is clearing up cap space for both teams. Because trading Tyreek Hill, we're going to keep 15 million, I think it is, or 13 million from his cap. So he would just be over there for a cap hit of like 12 million. They would restructure his contract to take away most of the cap. And then again, same thing for us. We would restructure Myles Garrett. Both would free up cap space, and both would kind of get the player that they need to get because, again, Cleveland's going to be drafting Abdul Carter. This is all the basis of if they draft Abdul Carter, then this trade starts. And Miami gets Luther Burden, or Matthew Golden gets one of the star receivers in this draft that can replace Tyreek Hill. You get a playmaker. You get that number 1 guy, or that guy that can do the same thing that Tyreek Hill can do. And you essentially have just swapped guys and drafted the same player. That's essentially what you're doing in this draft. I mean, might be crazy. I don't know. You guys tell me in the comments if I'm, out of my mind. But the more I talk about this, like I said, I don't think this is going to happen. But the more I talk about this, the more that it makes sense. Cleveland needs a wide receiver. We need a pass rusher. You even swap, and you end up drafting the same guy in the first round. I don't know. It sounds like pretty good to me. Cleveland gets their number one guy. We get our pass rusher, and we're both kind of like eating each other's cap for that player. So both teams don't really take on too much cap, and then you both restructure. I don't know. The Cooper Kupp thing, we'll talk about it real quick. The Cooper Kupp thing, I don't think it's a receiver that the Dolphins need to go for. He's just not really a fit here, I don't think. We're going for speed, and we're going for, lightning fast players. We're not really going for short players that, are injury prone. So wouldn't really say Cooper Kupp is a trade that we go for. But yeah, the Myles Garrett thing, I don't know, guys. I think that trade would make sense for both teams. You're both getting what you want. You're both getting the player that is causing, an issue for both teams out of the locker room. And you're essentially drafting the same player, but a younger version in the first round. Makes sense. I don't know. But like I said, let me know in the comments what you think. If you think I'm crazy and I don't know what the hell I'm talking about. But, if there's anything that we do, both players want out. I know I keep saying that. But as always, guys, fins up, baby. Love you all. Peace.